welcome into another episode of Sports Talk for You. I am your host, Aaron Bell. I got my co host, Adam Parker, with me. Sorry if I look a little rough today. I've been working out and doing stuff around the house, so it's probably why I look rough, but disregard that. Before we get started with our NFL recap, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel for more shows. We do a lot of NFL, college basketball coming up, so subscribe. Let's get to a miserable Tom Brady last night. Another primetime effort to where he just was god awful. The guy looked 43 years old last night. He couldn't hit a deep receiver to save his life. I believe if I saw the stat right, he was 1 for 9 or 1 for 10 on throws over 15 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, his deep balls were absolutely horrendous. I mean, they weren't just missing by a little bit, they were missing by a mile. And, I don't know if it's because he's on a new team, still trying to get used to everybody, what have you.
I don't
But,
get that. It's been 11 weeks. There's no way.
exactly.
No.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not trying to make excuses per se for the guy. But it felt like, Jameis Winston, grabbed Tom Brady's controller and just was like throwing pick after pick or overthrowing. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, it was just, it was such an odd game yesterday, but credit the Rams, they hung in there. And you know what? Tampa Bay's defense, for the most part looked really good. I know that they gave up 27 points, but I was impressed with their pass rush as well as, what's his name? Pierre-Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul was all over
Yeah,
the place last night. That
he was.
interception, I don't know where Jared Goff was throwing that ball.
No, exactly. And not only that, that makes 2 interceptions in a row, one last week and one this week. So Patrick Mahomes, you better watch out next week.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But speaking of him real
Mahomes
quick.
That's fine.
Exactly. But hey, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, just real quick. Yeah, that's why he's worth $500 million. That's it.
I mean, the fact that his football IQ is so smart, because when he scrambled out of that pocket, he knew right away that Abrams was going to come up on him, and that was going to leave Travis. Like, the guy's IQ is just amazing. I mean, the fact that he said he scrambled on purpose to get Abrams to come up at him, which left Kelsey wide open in the end zone.
Right. So. And not just that, but if you look at the replay of that and you look at the offensive line, it's like the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line gobbled up the Raiders defensive line. Like just, I mean, it was like a mouth open and then closed.
Yeah.
You didn't really see a black shirt. It was really hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, that's why he's worth $500 million, and he showed it the other night.
And you gotta give credit to Derek Carr. I mean, the guy came out and played a fantastic game.
Yeah, I just wish he was a little more consistent. If he was a little more consistent, I think he'd be a top 6 quarterback in the league.
And it's amazing what happens when he passes to the number 3 tight end in the league.
Exactly. Using those weapons. Mm-hmm. But hey, I got to give a quick shout out to the Cowboys. There was
just getting ready to say the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, and there was an actual Zeke Elliott sighting, which
and let's not forget Pollard with his 42-yard touchdown run.
That's true. Yes. So, hey, I mean, that just shows you the offensive line actually showed up. But I did hear that they switched Zach Martin's position. So, obviously, it seemed to have worked that game at least.
Hey, and let's give it to the defense. I mean, they gave up 28 points, but they shut Dalvin Cook down for the most part. I mean, he had over 100 yards, but he had to work for those 100 yards and those 2 touchdowns.
He did. Yeah, it was more of a contain Dalvin Cook and let Kirk Cousins beat you type of a thing. And, I was just impressed with the effort,
Can we go to the catch by both CeeDee Lamb and by Adam Thielen? I mean, both of those catches were just, downright amazing.
Hey, and since you mentioned CeeDee Lamb, he set a rookie franchise record for the most receptions, by the way, after that game.
There you go.
So,
Irvin, so sorry.
Yep, and his future is so bright, and I'm thankful that they picked him at 17, and thanks to everybody else who let him fall to
Oh,
that.
here's the real question. Can we just get to Doug Peterson when he was
Mhm.
asked in the press conference, will you sit Carson Wentz next week? And he just kind of stared at the media guy like, no. So, I mean, Doug Peterson was kind of offended by that question, trying to say that, well, Carson Wentz is still our franchise quarterback. But, there's a time where I mean, I understand because they're still god awful 3-6-1 in the playoff race. I hate saying that. But I believe if they were 3-6-1 and about 3 games out, I think he would bench him and give Jalen Hurts the chance. But because they're in the playoff spot, he's going to keep Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and also too, it's kind of like with the Eagles situation. I feel like it's buyer's remorse. Like I feel like the Bears, to a degree, wish that they didn't sign Nick Foles, and I think that the Patriots, sorry, excuse me, the Eagles, to an extent, wish Nick Foles didn't leave them. And I feel like it's a little bit of buyer remorse per se. And so, anyway,
Yeah, let's
we'll see
let's
what
get
happens.
let's get to Nick Foles and the Bears
Hmm.
because Foles is injured. Trubisky, they don't know if he'll be back, so that'll leave the third stringer Tyler Bray with the start. And Chiefs
Hmm.
fans know all about that guy. So I don't know, that quarterback issue in Chicago is just a shit wreck right now. I mean,
It, it
you're not
is,
going
and
to win games with those quarterbacks.
it's sad because just when you think Foles could just take it to the next level, for some reason I feel like he doesn't. I mean,
Yeah,
he shows glimpses of it, don't take me wrong, but I just don't understand the inconsistency of the whole thing. And I know the last game, Nagy was not calling the plays. He pulled a Jason Garrett and gave his call duties to somebody else. And let me tell you, I think it was worse. I really do. So hopefully after the bye week, either they shore that up or he takes it back. But honestly, I was just, it's so shocking to me how the Bears just cannot move with that offense, you
yeah.
know? And it's not like they got bad players. It's not like they're the New York Jets. You
Unless I
know what I
forget they're down to their third string running back as well, Cordell Patterson. I guess
Right,
I wouldn't call him a third string because he's a wide receiver and a running back, but
right.
you know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So,
Now let's
but
get to Thanksgiving Day coming up. Dallas, Washington playing for
mhm.
first place in the division. Um,
Imagine that.
if Dallas plays the way they did on Sunday, they will win this game by 20 points. That's my
Yeah,
prediction. If they play
yeah,
the way they did Sunday.
right. And they just need to show up and take pride in blocking somebody because it shows you that if you actually block for Ezekiel Elliott, he'll, carry it and get you over 85 yards, like he did last game. And if you actually block for Andy Dalton, he does an actual decent job at getting the ball to the wide receivers, you
Exactly.
know. But knock on wood, whatever. Like I've said, I feel like this team could go 8-8. I've said that. I know they're one game away, but at the same time, if they lose, at least we get a decent draft position. So anyway, no
Exactly.
mary how you look
A
at it, it's kind of
win-win.
a win.
Now
So
let's get to another Thursday night game on Thanksgiving. Ravens Steelers. Of course, the Ravens are had a god awful last 3 weeks. 3 game losing streak. They can't pass the ball. Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball deep. He's trying to go middle. Teams are shutting the middle down, which is leaving the outside, but he does not throw the ball outside. I
uh,
mean, I don't know. In Pittsburgh, cakewalk schedule, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're beating those teams the way they're supposed to beat them. Um,
mm,
after this, the only real chance of them losing is maybe at Cleveland week 17 if Baltimore
yeah,
doesn't beat them Thursday night.
right. And you know what? It all depends on which Baltimore team shows up with the Steelers. They have a history of being ground and pound, but didn't Roethlisberger kind of light them up last
Yeah, he did
the
last
last
week.
meeting?
I mean, it was a 4 point game, but he let them
Right,
up in the end.
right. Which is so kind of uncharacteristic for a Steelers Ravens game. They're typically, it's all run. I mean, they pass it, but you're not as successful passing as you are running the ball. in these typical matchups. But it'll be interesting because can Baltimore beat the Steelers? Yes, but it all depends on which defense shows up. So, you know, um, it's a rivalry game and we'll see what happens. But, if they make Lamar Jackson throw the ball, you have a good shot at winning that game because it's like you said, he's an inconsistent thrower. I mean, it's sad to say he's a great runner, what have you, but the deep ball is his Achilles heel and
Exactly.
has been even in college.
Yeah.
So,
And then to close out the show, just saying prayers up to Joe Burrow, a freaking nasty knee injury.
yeah, that
Torn
was
ACL,
nasty.
torn MCL, more cartilage stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I know Rex Ryan went off, I believe it was this yesterday morning on the Good Morning Show about how the Cincinnati Bengals just used him wrong. They made him throw too many pass attempts. They made him drop back. He's saying that you don't do that when you have a bad offensive line like you do. You just don't, this is a franchise quarterback. You don't make him. He had the most attempts throughout the NFL through 11 weeks. I believe
Mm-hmm.
he was at 496 attempts, which is just ridiculous
Yeah.
for a rookie quarterback in this league to be doing. And the fact that it took him 11 weeks before he got injured, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
with that offensive line and how bad they are,
Right.
I
And
was
you know what? It kind of reminds me of the situation with the Chiefs when Alex Smith was at quarterback. Your line wasn't the greatest, and I always said, put the guy in the gun, the shotgun. And at least that gives you an extra second, to get the ball out. Because, I mean, the Chiefs line, 5 years ago, was not that great.
yeah,
And so, I mean, it makes sense what Rex Ryan said because I've seen it, with the Chiefs and even to an extent with Russell Wilson in Seattle. And it's an unfortunate thing what Joe Burrow ended up with his knee injury. But he's a strong kid and he'll rebound and come back. So
and I just want to close with fantasy owners. My God, Drew Brees, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott. Who's the other one? Of course, Kyle Allen, but he wasn't much of a
right,
fantasy guy. But all
right,
these enders, man, you bet
Garoppolo.
you better hope Herbert and Rodgers stay healthy, or else you're in trouble in fantasy.
No, it's for sure.
Yeah,
Knock on wood, my team's been doing well, even though they were predicted to go 2-12. Thank you, Yahoo. Thank
yeah.
you.
So, all right, we were
Yeah.
gonna get to college basketball, but time restraints today. I
Mhm.
got stuff to do. I got to get going, so that's gonna do it with our show today. We will probably do college basketball tomorrow because college basketball starts. But
Mhm.
Shocker Nation, it doesn't start because positive test we're done with for 2 weeks. So we will get to college basketball tomorrow. God knows how many games there's going to be because there's a lot of teams out right now. So
Yeah. Hopefully, Arizona plays Friday. They were supposed to play tomorrow, but an NAU player tested or somebody tested positive, just one, and they shut it down,
politics
which I get, whatever. But you
gonna be
know,
like that all year.
yeah, yeah, you're going to be dealing with that all year. So hopefully Friday we'll get the ball rolling here. So
Exactly. So
looking forward to it.
we'll see you guys tomorrow.